Testing, testing. Welcome to the This Justin podcast by your host, Justin. And today we got a good one. Today we talk about the Brooklyn Nets with Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and now James Harden, all on the same team. We haven't seen anything like this since probably the Heat with Wade, Bosh, and LeBron. And even then, to this caliber, it's like they took a step. They rose. They set the bar. They set the bar of big threes. This is one hell of a big three. It's one hell of a team. It's something else. If I'm a Brooklyn fan, I am hype. If I'm a Brooklyn fan, stand up. Knicks fans, you might want to stand down today. And it sucks for Knicks fans because you guys are some of the most loyal fans, and New York fans in general are some of the most loyal fans ever. And their teams suck. The Giants just all right, I don't want to talk about I don't want to talk about the Knicks or the Giants. Not today. I want to talk about the Nets because the Nets got one hell of a team. And the Nets, though they just acquired James Harden, have been struggling a bit to win some games because of their defense. Now, their defense is not to be surprised. It's not surprising. I don't think anyone assumed when Brooklyn sacrificed all their depth, specifically good defensive parts, such as Allen, when they sacrificed all their depth, that they would get a bona fide defensive star. No, they didn't. They got James Harden, which might be better. Who knows? Listen, Brooklyn knows what they're doing when they acquired James Harden. They knew. They were all in. They sacrificed all their depth. They said, hey, you can take this. But I want a superstar that could solidify this team's chance of winning a championship in James Harden, a league MVP, 30-point per game scorer. The man's averaged a triple-double as far as I'm concerned. Pair that guy with Kyrie Irving, arguably the most talented, skilled point guard in the position of all time. Arguably. And you got Kevin Durant, who's also arguably the greatest scorer of all time. There's nothing he can't do. He's got a three-point shot. He's got a mid-range shot. He's got a fadeaway. He's got handles. And he's like 7 foot. Like, what more could you want from a player? Like, if you were creating a 2K player, you'd create Kevin Durant. That's how good he is. So, you pair these three up. I think, of course, the expectations are to win a championship. But they're struggling to win some games now. I'm not surprised. You know, a lot of people are talking about defense. A lot of people are talking about how the Nets will never win a chip because of defense. And I'm just saying, I acknowledge that. And defense has a large part to do with winning championships and NBA history recently. You look at the teams that have won championships recently. They have almost all, have been top 10, top 5 defensive teams in the league at that time. Now, I think the same people talking about defense should know it takes some time for a team, whomever they are, to establish some sort of chemistry. You can't just rely on good defensive players and say that's enough. That will lead to a good defense. We learned that from the Clippers. The Clippers got Patrick Beverley, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Montrezl Harrell. They put them all on the same team. They all good defenders as far as I'm concerned. I don't know about anyone else. But I like to think they're all pretty above average defenders. You put them all on the same team, and though they were good, they were not as good. They did not live up to their potential. They could have been a better defensive team than they were. So listen, I think this team will figure it out defensively, will be able to score 140 a night if they chose to. Are you kidding me? Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, I was about to say LeBron. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden on the same team. Do you know these players single-handedly are capable of dropping 50 single-handedly? This team's potential is through the roof. Their defense will figure it out. I trust in it. And we haven't even talked about Mike D'Antoni, who worked with James Harden, who's had an offense that is meant to score the basketball. I mean, listen, I think we all know not Houston. I think we all know Brooklyn will score the basketball with ease. What I'm saying is that if you give this team some time to establish some sort of defensive identity, they will. And I'm not going to say they're going to be an elite defensive team. I'm going to say that they're going to be middle of the pack, best top 10. I think a lot of people underrate Kyrie Irving and James Harden defensively. They make, they deserve jokes for it. Deservingly so. Kyrie Irving held his own against a 2-time MVP and Steph Curry back in the NBA Finals in 2016. James Harden, didn't he lead the league in steals? I think these guys are not phenomenal defenders. I'm not saying they are. I think these guys are more than capable of staying with their man, which is practically all you want from them. So listen, they'll figure it out. When they do figure it out, they'll figure it out with the best offense in the league, I'm sure. And entering the postseason, especially in the Eastern Conference, which got better, but especially in the East, it's hard for me to see a team that can beat this team. And we'll talk about this later throughout the podcast, in a next podcast. But man, Brooklyn is one hell of a team. They'll figure it out. Just give them time.